Hi, I'm Bob. Been totally blind since birth. Even though I'm a former 90s kid, I am a fan of 80s cartoons like this. So, for those of you unable to see, I'm holding the Shout Factory Transformers Complete Animated Series, The Matrix of Leadership Edition, in my hands. So, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about how this 80s show rolled across a span of years and how it grabbed my imagination in early 1991. So I remember being in a Blockbuster and looking for something to watch, and we didn't have cable at the time. So, I mean, I knew of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Real Ghostbusters from ABC and CBS, but I never heard of Transformers. So, when the title Transformers More Than Meets the Eye was read to me out loud, I thought this was a 90s show I'd never heard of. I mean, this was back in the day when there was no internet. There was no history of cartoons at one's fingertips. So, I mean, I just incorporated it into all the other awesome 90s TV shows that I liked. I didn't know it was from the 80s. I get the tape home, I get it into the VCR. I had some buddies from school over that particular weekend, and man, it was awesome being able to watch More Than Meets the Eye for the first time and getting to have some of these characters described to me for the first time. I remember just being fascinated with these robots that could think and feel and have human emotions. I remember hearing Peter Cullen's voice as Optimus Prime for the first time and thinking, well, not in these terms, but I remember pretty much thinking that, wow, this guy sounds so warm and so compassionate, so wise. Even though he's a robot, he sounds like he has a heart a mile wide. And it was awesome hearing Frank Welker's Megatron for the first time. And, since I was unable to see what year this show came out in, since I didn't really have that read to me, I thought I could get all these action figures. So I remember going to Target and Walmart and looking high and low, vicariously, of course, through my relatives and my friends for, Megatron and Prime. I remember, watching a lot of other season 1 episodes from our video store. I remember, watching SOS Dinobots and, then really wanting the Dinobots, not being able to find them. And of course, unbeknownst to me, this was an 80s TV show. I'd missed out on the big Transformers Astro train, so to speak. I remember when 1993 rolled around, we had cable by then, and we subsequently got Sci-Fi Channel, and I started to watch the Cartoon Quest, this block of syndicated sci-fi TV shows. They'd air every morning before kids went to school here in the States. And I remember watching some season 3 episodes of Transformers for the first time, and I was just introduced to all of these new characters. I think I fell right into the middle of season 3. So I remember watching the Ghost in the Machine for the first time and thinking, what the heck? Starscream's a ghost now? I mean, how in the heck did that happen? But man, ghost robots are cool. And I remember thinking, where in the heck is Optimus Prime? Who the heck is this Galvatron guy? Is this Megatron's crazy brother, his crazy uncle, his crazy son? What the heck's going on here? And I remember right around that time, lucky for me, we'd gone to an Albertsons grocery store of all places. And I discovered Transformers the movie there. That was available to rent. So that one particular weekend in 1993, all the puzzle pieces fit together for me, and I realized, oh my God, Prime's not in these episodes because he's dead. Like, oh, that's how Rodimus became the leader. Oh wow, that's how Starscream became a ghost. He was blasted to bits by Galvatron. But that was the version of the VHS in which you had that voiceover come on at the end of the movie and reassure the kiddos that, oh, Optimus Prime, the greatest of all the Autobots, will return. So, I mean, I wasn't too torn up about him being gone. I was like, okay, well, they'll bring him back, so it's all good. I continued to watch season 3 and enjoyed those. Then in 1994, early 94 it would have been, I remember seeing the return of Optimus Prime and syndication on Cartoon Quest. And I remember, being floored when hearing Peter Cullen reprising the role of Prime and hearing that voice say, "No force on earth will be able to stop me this time," or something along those lines at the end of part one. And just getting goosebumps at the end of part two when Optimus, I believe he uses the Matrix to quell the hate plague, to eradicate the hate plague. And it's one of the moments in Transformers history that has always stuck with me, because Galvatron comes to his senses, this Decepticon who is insane. It's like he has this one moment of sanity. He doesn't want to fight Prime at the end of the episode when he sees Optimus back, when he sees the plague gone. He just says, "There will be no war today, Optimus. You have earned Galvatron's respect." And I don't know, there's just something about the touch playing again, something about listening to that, 35 or 40 seconds of that theme song from the movie, of knowing that your hero is back, and this time he's here to stay. There's just something about that still floors me whenever I watch those episodes. I think that really speaks to how well Hasbro made Generation 1. I mean, like I said, I wasn't able to read that this stuff was made in the 1980s. To 90s kid me, I mean, it was a show from my generation. I had no idea that I was watching this thing, 9 or so years later. It felt brand new to me. It felt like it had just come in and put me in the driver's seat, and I don't think I've gotten out since. I've always loved Transformers. I remember when the Generation 2 stuff started hitting shelves, Megatron and Starscream were under the Christmas tree of 10-year-old me during 1993. And I remember that being a very Decepticon-ish Christmas. I had Optimus Prime there in 1993 or thereabouts. And even though Peter Cullen's voice didn't come out of that backpack when you pressed the button, and even though, it didn't sound anything like Prime when he said, "I am Optimus Prime," I still really enjoyed making the noises and making the little laser gun sound effects and transforming him. And I think, that just goes to show how amazing of a franchise Transformers is. I mean, I just incorporated it into things that I was watching. And it really, now that I think about it, it feels like in some way I was kind of trapped in this weird 80s time bubble whenever the show came on. To me, it was new. It was something unlike anything I'd seen before. And it was amazing to, even though I was, a kid of the 90s, to turn on Sci-Fi and to watch this thing every morning. I may not have been an 80s kid, but in a way I feel like I was transported there whenever I would watch the show. Still feel that way. I really envy you guys who watched this stuff when it aired the first time. And, for you guys to be able to, receive characters like the original Megatron, in Walther P-38 form, and Astro Train and Blitzwing, that must have been awesome. So it's always fun to watch YouTube videos of folks sharing their stories, from the 80s, how they got into Transformers, where they were, what they were doing when they watched some of the episodes for the first time. And I know it doesn't really come close to being there in the 80s, but I still really enjoy the franchise. I enjoy how it is able to roll across the years and still capture the imaginations of kids, even in the 2020s today. You have parents who are former 80s kids. You have parents introducing their kids to this stuff. And I mean, that speaks to just how amazing of a franchise this is. So anyway, this is a long enough video, and I'm going to call this a video. So maybe next time we'll talk about G.I. Joe, the animated series from the 80s, and how much I enjoy that as well. So until next time, transform and roll out, and I'll hear you later.